offers available now at purewestradio.com, and just click on Ocky White Travel. And two people, two or four that are going on, I wouldn't say a holiday of a lifetime, but certainly an interesting row across the Atlantic. I tell you what, hats off to them. I've got Sophie and Janine joining us on the show this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you doing today? You okay?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Enjoying the weather.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? I mean, firstly, I must say, what an incredible challenge you've set yourself. So cruising free, it's an Atlantic row that's happening next year. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the distance just sort of makes me sort of gasp, really. 3,200 miles unsupported across the Atlantic. That is some challenge. Sophie, where did this all come from? Where was the idea of it?
So we are all members of Neyland Rowing Club. And the conversation first started between myself and Janine, where there was basically one day on a row, Janine asked me if I'd ever considered rowing across the Atlantic. And my response to Janine was, are you asking me to row across the Atlantic with you? And she said, yes, I think I am. So that's where it all started. And it was probably over, I think it was about 2.5 years ago that conversation happened. And here we are now as a crew of 4 actually doing it.
Hats off to you. I mean, Janine, why did you want to do it? I mean, where did you think, hang on a minute, we love rowing. Of course, you're part of Neyland Rowing Club. What made you think, do you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to go for the big one.
Well, I've been a sea rower for over 30 years. And over that time, every so often people have been asking me, do you fancy doing the Atlantic? And I've always said, no, that sounds really horrible, dangerous and uncomfortable. And, no, don't want to do it. And then there was a team where I knew someone was doing it, and I thought, if I don't do it now, I won't do it. So that's where the idea came from. And then, talking to Sophie out there, and then Polly came on board and Miyah. So here we are. We're
incredible.
We're actually doing it.
So how does this work then? So there's 4 of you. Obviously you're big avid rowers. You're fit. You know what you're doing. But how does it work logistically? Are you all in the rowing boat at the same time? Do you take it in turns? How does that all work?
Yeah, so we've got an ocean rowing boat. It's 10 meters long, and on either end of the boat, there's a cabin. Okay, now they're very small, but they're big enough for us to lie down in, and then the rowing positions are in the middle of the boat. Our boat can have 3 people rowing at any one time, but what we will have is 2 people rowing and 2 people resting. And then we'll have a shift pattern. We're not exactly sure what shift pattern we're going to use yet. Traditionally, ocean rowers look at 2 hours on, 2 hours off, or 3 hours on, 3 hours off. But we're not doing the event to do it in a set time. We're going for the adventure, and we want to get across safely. And so I think what we've been saying is whatever shift pattern we start with probably isn't going to be the one we end with. We're going to adapt to the conditions and to how we're finding the row, really. And if that means a little bit more rest, then that's great. Or if it means less rest, then we're going to have to adjust. But that's how it will work.
Brilliant. At least it's not a race. That's put me at ease a little bit. Mainly just because we've got 4 local lasses doing this incredible challenge. But I mean, how long is it going to take? Because I mean, 3,000 plus miles. I mean, that's a long old way.
Yeah, we reckon it's going to take between 55 and 60 days.
Wow.
Depending on the weather, depending on how hard we row, and how often.
So where are you going to be leaving from? Where's your departure destination?
So we're leaving from Lanzarote, and then we're going to arrive in Antigua.
Wow. I mean, you say it so casually there, Janine. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're just hopping on a plane, but it's not. There's going to be 4 of you on an ocean rowing boat. Absolutely sensational. I mean, what planning have you got to put in process for this? I mean, obviously the training, but, I mean, there's got to be a few extra things you need to sort of bear in mind for this.
Absolutely. So we're going with an event called Atlantic Dash. And so in order to take part in the event, we have to meet certain requirements. So not only do we have to get ourselves physically fit, which has sort of been ongoing and is ongoing, but we have to turn ourselves into ocean rowers. And that is the really difficult bit. So we've got to know exactly how our boat works. And obviously when we're out there, if there's anything that goes wrong, there's no one to come and fix it for us. We've got to do that. So we've got to learn about electrics and how to fix the electrics. We've got to learn about the water maker, which is what's going to enable us to convert seawater into drinking water. And again, obviously, because that is, that's an absolute essential when we're out there. So we need to know how to fix that too. And we also need to be able to deal with any sort of medical things that arise on board from any injuries. And if we get any holes in the boat from marlin strikes, which is absolutely, we hope isn't going to happen, we need to be able to mend the boat so that it doesn't sink. And then so to take part in the event, like I said, there's a list of requirements. So for instance, we went to Essex a few weeks ago for a 5-day course where we did our sea survival, our VHF radio course, marine first aid, and navigation. Yes, so we have to learn how to navigate. Important. So again, we've got power on the boat, so we've got solar panels that provide power to us. But obviously, worst case scenario is that might fail. So we have to be able to do everything by hand and not be completely reliant upon power on the boat. So basically, there's a lot to do. And that's an ongoing battle. Yes. And then on top of all of that, which is sort of the average ocean rower, our row is a little bit different. Because I live with a health condition called cystic fibrosis. And so in doing the row, I'm aiming to be the first person with cystic fibrosis to row any ocean.
Wow.
But we have to consider extra things for that. So I have to take lots of tablets. I also have to do daily nebulizers to look after my lung health. And so we need to take a fridge on board. And then we also need to work out the logistics of using nebulizers and storing medications safely on this ocean rowing boat. And then, of course, what we might need to do if I do become unwell on the row as well, which is really helpful that Polly's a nurse. So she's she's going to use her sort of knowledge in that area to help us really think that through. But basically, we're having to adapt ocean rowing and we're having to adapt our boat, which is really exciting because I think we're sort of to me, it's really exciting because it's not just about what we're doing. It's about imagining a future where people living not only with cystic fibrosis, but other health conditions and other disabilities can access adventures and extreme adventures, and not only included ocean rowing. And we're sort of, I think, pushing the boundaries of that and, trying to solve some of those maybe problems, if you like, some of those challenges that we're going to face. But we've got to factor that in as well as to how we prepare for this ocean row. So it's
very, very exciting. And I mean, well done to you, Sophie, for giving it a go, especially with your health conditions and, pushing the boundaries and, hopefully setting a precedence for it. Very, very exciting. The other thing, Janine, I mean, how does it work with, supplies on the boat in regards to how do you keep yourself, nourished? And as you said, Sophie, a great way how you can transform the salt water into drinking water. But I mean, how does it work with taking supplies on there as well?
Okay, so we have to eat between 5,000 and 6,000 calories a day, which is quite a tall order when you have a small storage space on the boat. So about half those calories will come from dehydrated food packs, like the army use and any expeditions. The rest of it will come from snack packs, so they will be individualized. So we need to kind of snack all through while we're rowing. To get those other 2,000 to 3,000 calories into us. So we're working on that at the moment to what to take.
Wow, it's incredible.
Yeah,
there's a lot of logistics. I mean, it's great that you can row, isn't it? That's sort of one thing that you love, but it's all the logistical challenges that just come along with it.
Yes.
I mean, we cycled from Pembs to Paris in 2015, but that was getting a group of cyclists from Haverfordwest to the Eiffel Tower. We had 6 days. You're on the boat for basically 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a long old time, isn't it?
Well, we will be fishing as well. That's the idea, is get a bit of fresh food. And also talking to someone that's done a lot of solar crossings. She sprouts beans.
Wow.
So that we've got some fresh stuff to go in it. So I'm going to have a go at that. Not sure how it's going to work, but I'm going to have a go.
That.
Because 2 months of dehydrated food and with no fresh food, I think that's going to be a bit challenging.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly take advantage of your surroundings and cast the rod out and see what you could find. Certainly, it's absolutely remarkable. This hats off to you ladies, and to the other two doing it as well. We're really excited to follow this journey here on Pure West, and of course, you're doing this as well, raising money for, as you said, Sophie, cystic fibrosis, but also for Paul Sartori. Obviously, it makes sense why cystic fibrosis with your journey, Sophie. Why Paul Sartori as well?
Okay, so Paul Sartori is very well known in Pembrokeshire. They do amazing work with hospice at home. And at the end of the life of both my parents, Paul Sartori gave us a lot of support. And Polly, being a nurse, has come across the work of Paul Sartori in her job and been very impressed with it. And we need to help them carry on being able to help people in Pembrokeshire with this.
Yeah, they are absolutely remarkable. They've touched the lives of so many and helped so many people here in the county. Very worthy cause. And you're going to be doing a Blue Lagoon event. Actually, we love this. The Bluestone Foundation supporting Team Cruising Free. Tuesday, 27th of August, you can get yourself along to Blue Lagoon. It's open for the entire community. There's about 50% of tickets left. That is it. So please head on over to purewestradio.com. Click on the What's Ons. There you'll be able to see details of the Blue Lagoon event. And there you can purchase tickets with the money raised going towards Team Cruising Free. Absolutely fabulous. Ladies, we'll have you on again in a couple of months' time, because I need to know how all your planning's going, where the logistics are at. I really want to follow this journey and keep everyone updated. It's so exciting. I'm also incredibly sort of nervous for you as well. This is such a mad challenge. I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of guests on my show over the last couple of decades, but this is right up there. Honestly, I'm sort of like, I'm twitching already, but I mean, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So I need to follow your journey. I need to be a part of this.
Can I just add a little bit here quickly?
Of course you can. Of course you can, my love.
As well as Sophie being the first person with cystic fibrosis to cross an ocean, I'm going to be the oldest woman. I'm going for the world record to be the oldest woman to cross any ocean. So
that's absolutely incredible.
As if ocean rowing wasn't hard enough, we're just going to factor those two things in as well.
Yeah.
Why not, hey?
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much, Toby.
A typical Pembrokeshire challenge. We just we take something standard, just crossing the Atlantic, and we just make it as difficult as we possibly can. But I have no doubt you'll raise a lot of money for two wonderful causes. And I think ultimately, I think what's really important here is the message you're sending, Sophie, as well, that, it doesn't matter what disability you've got, you can turn that into an ability. And also Janine as well, flying that flag as well for all the bus pass holders. I absolutely love it. So good luck to both of you. Absolutely phenomenal. So you're right to check in with us in a couple of months' time?
Absolutely. We'd love to tell you more about how we're getting on.
Yeah, I'd love that.
For you to support our journey. Thanks so much, Toby.
Absolute pleasure. Sophie and Janine there from Team Cruising. Absolutely incredible what they are doing. They are going to be single-handedly, between the four of them, crossing the Atlantic. Bunch of rowers from Neyland Rowing Club, 3,200 miles across the Atlantic, unsupported. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you ever so much to Sophie and Janine for joining us on the show, and really looking forward to following their journey. Absolutely.